We did an investigation of the shower installation, and we found that the showers were leaking when we tested them.
Here we are in the master bedroom, behind the hall shower enclosure. This is before the water test. You can see stains on the framing itself. That one's actually wet still.
The Civil Code says that plumbing shall not leak into wall cavities, and in this project, that's what we found.
You can see after the small water test for about less than a minute, there's significant water all over the framing. You can see it running down onto the drywall. You can see daylight through the tub spout. You have stains already present before the test has been started. Water stains on the framing.
Mixer valve not secured to the block.
Due to the fact that the shower valve was not secured to the blocking at the framing. Not sealed at the plastic wall of the shower valve and the tub spout penetration of the tub shower enclosure.
The tub fixtures are extremely loose, as they appear in all other houses. The shower is very loose as well. You can see staining on the tub.
And we found that all showers that we tested had leakage problems into the interior walls of the house.
Plumbing trim at the fiberglass enclosures was not properly sealed to the enclosure.
All the cluster going down, and it's going down to this copper manifold,
Right.
continued copper all the way back to the water heater originally. So this is where it turns to red. You know, it didn't have red anywhere else. And that continues underneath and then back to the water heater. So an 8-foot run of PEX red.
No turns?
No turns, but it's looks like a patch.
Subtop of this countertop appears to have some damage from water. It is separating, some staining. The sink in the hall bathroom's seal has failed. There's moisture. There's no seal. Here we are underneath the kitchen sink. There is a stain and rust located here on the right side of the sink. The back of the sink behind the faucet fixture is completely rusty. There's water damage to the subtop, and there's rust. There is water damage completely around this entire sink. There's damage to the subdeck and sink itself. The sink itself is rusting. The faucet seems to be not sealed properly. It looks like there's some growth of some sort. Underneath the sink there is some separation In the sub deck on the countertop, there's staining on this side of the sink. And just to show you, that same location is where the most damage is. Here we are in the hall bathroom. Below the sink, you have water stains, damage to the sub deck. Continuing to the right sink in the hall bathroom, there's staining present. More shots of the staining on the right side, right sink. Under this location here, there is obvious water staining to the sub deck below. You can see severe water damage and rust. Damage from the underside of the faucet, most likely due to a poor seal on the fixture. You can see damage as well from water.
We're looking at problems with leaking sinks. Here we have an example of a top set sink in a bathroom. So this is an example of negligence on the part of the plumber that's caused damage to the cabinet below. There's a lot of damage underneath the kitchen sinks from the bad installation of countertops and sinks themselves. Water's dripping through, causing damage to the cabinets underneath, and we've seen it in multiple houses. Multiple responsibilities for some of these leaks. Sometimes it's the plumber, sometimes it's the countertop installer, but there's generally a large amount of damage.
The water closets had a varying of problems. The floor unlevelness, water intrusion causing problems with the brass, water closet bolts breaking and falling off, creating a movement and breaking the seal and leaking.
The toilet is extremely loose. You can see with little to no effort, the toilet is able to be moved and is pulling up the flooring in this area.
You can see that the toilet is not secured. It rocks back and forth, and there's evidence of leaking and water damage behind the toilet, water damage on the baseboards and on the flooring. There, you can see on the location on the back of the toilet there is evidence of water stains and damage on the flooring and on the baseboard. You can see that water was traveling from outside of the toilet under the flooring, causing damage to the flooring in this location and causing resulting damage to the baseboards. Possibly the cabinet as well.
Completely broke off
So we need the drywall lower.
due to corrosion. The toilet is not sealed. Water damage behind the toilet on this baseboard as well.
bolt is rusted off. The bolts were broken on them.
The installation of toilets is often left to apprentices and helper categories. Other resulting damage from a poor rough-in installation of the closet flange is the fact that the toilet is loose and you cannot maintain a caulk seal to the floor. Water can get under the toilet either from the outside or the inside. Floor covering gets damaged, and also the baseboards can be damaged. If the closet flange isn't flat, if the floor isn't flat, then the china can break from tightening it to the floor. The rough-in of the toilets was not good. Leaking toilets can cause damage to vinyl floor covering. They can cause damage to baseboards, drywall, paint. If you see this type of damage on the floor around a toilet, it is generally the result of a defective rough-in of the toilet itself, a plumbing defect. When there's lack of sealant between the toilet and the vinyl, or the baseboard and the vinyl, water can get underneath the vinyl. In this project, what we saw is a lot of leaking toilets. The seal between the wax seal between the toilet and the closet flange was poorly sealed, poorly installed, and water was leaking through that underneath the vinyl, causing damage to the vinyl.